Hey everybody! I just did a video for an event, and I will tell you, just as I told them, you have not entered the Twilight Zone. It is still October 4th, 2020, and this is a Christmas tree. Um, I'm not a big fan of the cold. So I do my best to focus on the things that I love associated with the cold, which at Christmas is one of them. And honestly I have been fighting the temptation to start putting up Christmas decorations. And over the weekend, another Christmas tree just literally fell into my lap. And I didn't have anywhere to store it, so I figured I'll just put it up. And so I'm getting ready for Christmas. And most of the time, my craziness doesn't really have a negative effect on anyone and doesn't harm anyone. So that now my kids might argue that it's embarrassing. So that might be a negative effect, but otherwise. I've come to the place of acceptance and I celebrate my craziness and I encourage you to do the same. But anyway, I'm here to talk to you today about spirituality, which is the most important part of our health and our fitness. And many times, most of us leave that out and forget how important it is. And, as a holistic coach, I incorporate all aspects of being human into health and fitness. So that's the physical, obviously, the intellectual, the emotional, the social, and the spiritual. And so, we've covered those others, and I saved the best for last and the most important for last. And I know that spirituality can be a touchy subject. But I just want to let you know I'm not talking about religion here, okay? I'm talking about spirituality. And it can be a touchy subject for many of us. And especially here lately with all of the crazy stuff going on in the world, um, some of us may have found ourselves reflecting more on our spirituality and thinking about that more. And if that's you, you're not alone in that. Back in, I believe it was 1907, there was a guy by the name of Duncan McDougall. Isn't that a fun name? Duncan McDougall. It sounds like a cartoon character or something. Anyway, Mr. McDougall, he did this little experiment, and it's controversial, and the results are controversial, but nonetheless, I'm going to share that with you, and you may have heard about this. So he did this experiment where he weighed a person's body right before and right after death. And the conclusion of his experiment was that the soul weighs about 21.3 grams, which is roughly three-fourths of an ounce. And so he gave this terminology as the soul, and many times I think that we use the term soul and spirit as one and the same. And what I have come to know and realize and believe for myself, and again, this is just my own belief, is that the soul and the spirit are different. So the spirit, a spirit being, is what we actually are. Okay, and we live in a body on this earth. We have a body that we occupy, and we possess a soul, which is our feeler and our thinker. So our soul is what we feel and what we think based on our experiences and our emotions and what's going on with us biologically and chemically. But our spirit being is who we really are. That's the essence of who we really are. And we just have these other pieces. that make us to be a human, having a body and having a feeler and a thinker. Um, and so, and many of us have beliefs based on what we've learned, what we've been exposed to in our lives. So, maybe influenced by our parents' beliefs or things that we learned growing up in church or things that we've heard on TV or on the radio or whatever means of social networking nowadays. So our beliefs are heavily influenced, and I believe that our spirit becomes confused, because our mind becomes confused because there's so much, noise coming in from all these different places. And, and I'm going to be as delicate with this as I can. And I prayed about this before I came on. I think that with well intention, a lot of times religion can maybe distort the true meaning of things and kind of maybe turn people off from their spirituality. And I am, and I'll just be upfront about this, I am a believer in Christ, and He is my best friend. But I don't really consider myself a religious person because I base my beliefs on my relationship with Christ rather than basing my relationship with Him on my beliefs, if that makes sense. So, and many of us have a different, what we call higher power, and for some of us, the universe might be our higher power, or nature might be our higher power. And if that's working for you, that's great. And for some of you, you might feel like something's missing. And if you feel that way, it's quite possible that it is. For me, my higher power and the way that I have a personal relationship in my spirit is because my God was a human for a little while. And so I feel I can relate to Him and He can relate to me. And that fulfills a void. That fills a void for me. Because I know that no matter what, even if no one else understands, I know He does. And life is difficult because even when we find people that have lived through similar experiences or similar things, even though we can relate and be empathetic to one another, we are the only one who has lived our journey and experienced the things that we've experienced. And sometimes that can leave us in a very lonely place, feeling that no one really understands. And so for me, my spiritual relationship with my higher power is the best thing that works for me. So I encourage you to keep exploring your spirituality and your spiritual side and find what works for you. And I encourage you to take maybe the things that you've learned or the things that have influenced you and question those things. I found for me that many of the things that I had learned or been influenced by, I questioned them and I wanted to understand better because some things settled well with my spirit and some things didn't. And so rather than just base my spirituality on someone else's, if that makes sense, like rather than basing what I know on what somebody else knows or what I believe on what somebody else believes, I looked into things on my own and developed a spirituality and a relationship with my higher power of my own. And, I think that sometimes um, we can be influenced so heavily by something, or hear the same thing over and over, and sometimes that can turn us on or that can turn us off. And if nothing else, just the simple state of being, and just meditating. And I tell you, I didn't know what this meditation stuff was all about, and there's no way I could do it because my head was so full and my body was so busy. I couldn't sit still long enough, and I didn't understand what it was all about, and what was so great about it. But I slowly learned how to make myself sit still long enough, and for me, a lot of times, connecting with my spiritual side is just the ability to sit still. And I found that a lot of times, just my busyness and my overthinking was me just not having to sit with myself. And so, again, this has been quite a journey for me, as it is for everyone, because we do have to, we do, or we should be mindful of these different aspects of being a human being and how they all connect to one another. And as a holistic coach, as you can imagine, I've been exposed to all different sorts of beliefs, and different things and different ideas, and and I'm open to things, and I don't shut things down. But I know in my spirit what's working for me, and I still have a lot of developing to do. Matter of fact, I attempted to do this video a couple days ago, and for some reason my video just wasn't connecting. I tried 3 different times, and I took that as a sign that maybe I'm just not in a very good spiritual position right now to be doing this video. So I took that as a sign, and I came back a couple days later, because like anybody else, my spirituality goes up and down too. And so I want to encourage you, just from a human being to a human being, that we all go through this, and we all question and wonder, and we go through days that we feel really connected and days that we feel really disconnected, and that's part of being a human. And but I strongly believe, and I encourage you, that the most important aspect of being a human, the most important aspect of our physical health, intellectual, emotional, and social, is to develop our spiritual health. And when we develop that, the more we develop that, everything else is going to follow suit. And when one aspect of our being is benefited, the others are benefited as well. And there's nothing that is going to benefit your being more than your spirituality, because that's who we are. We're spiritual beings. We live in a body and we possess a soul. So anyway, I just again wanted to come on as human to human and just encourage you and remind you that we all go through these things, and I encourage you to keep developing your spirituality, and whatever that looks like for you. And I hope this has been encouraging to you, and I will be back with more videos soon, because I found that I enjoy doing this. Even though I hate being on camera, I enjoy connecting with people. And though I would much rather do it in person, in real life, so to speak, right now this is the most effective way to do it. And I love humans. You guys are great, and we all go through our struggles, and that doesn't make us bad people. We all have a different journey, So keep going on your journey, and I wish healing and balancing and thriving for you. And I will see you back soon. Okay, be blessed, not stressed. Much love, much hugs. See you later. Bye bye.